Hello, everyone, and welcome to the debut performance of All the World Wide Web's A Stage. We will be doing today The Tempest by William Shakespeare. It was one of his final works ever written. It is phenomenally filled with magic and revenge and love and all kinds of crazy things that maybe we can relate to in this crazy time. We all came together to perform this for you and anybody who wants to see it. We are so excited to be bringing this production back. The first time we performed it, not me, but I directed it in 2018 at the Long Beach Playhouse, and much of our original cast is back, plus a few extra special guest stars. I would like to thank all of you for joining us today. Thank all of you for your continued support of live theater, whether it is virtual or in real life. And I can't wait to see all of you at the theater as soon as it is safe. Thank you for tuning in, and on with the show.
Bosun!
Here, master, what cheer?
Speak to the mariners. Fall to it, your lead, or we run ourselves aground. Bestir! Bestir!
Hey, my heart! Cheerily, cheerily, my heart! Yar! Yar! Take in the topsail! Pin to the master's whistle! Blow to the horse thy wind, room enough!
Good, bosun! Have care! Where's the master?
I pray now, keep below!
Where is the master, bosun?
Do you not hear? Do you not hear? You keep your cabins! You do assist the storm!
Nay, good, be patient.
When the sea is, hence! What cares these roars for the name of Queen? To cabin, silence! Trouble us not!
Good, yet remember whom thou hast aboard.
None that I love more than myself. Down with the topmast! Yard! Lower! Lower! Bring her drop main force!
Yeah!
Flag upon this howling! They are louder than the weather or our office! Yet again, what do you hear? Have you a mind to sink? Shall we just give oar and drown?
A pox on your throat, you bawling, blasphemous, incharitable dog!
Well, wipe you then!
Anchor, hang you whoreson, insolent noisemaker. We are less afraid to be drowned than thou art.
I'll warn him for drowning, though the ship were no stronger than a nutshell, and as leaky as an unstanced winch.
Lay her a hoe! Set her 2 courses off the sea again! Lay her on!
Nah!
All lost! All to prayers, all lost!
What must our mouths be gold?
The queen and princess at prayers. Let's assess them, for our case is as theirs.
I'm out of patience.
We are merely cheated out of our lives by drunkards. This wide-chapped rascal. Wouldst thou might lie the drowning, the washing of 10 tides?
He'll be hanged yet, though every drop of water swear against it, and gape at whitest to glut him.
Oh, help us!
The devils are here!
Let us all sink with the queen.
Let's take our leave of her.
If by your art, my dearest father, you have put the wild waters in this roar, allay them. with those that I saw suffer. A brave vessel who had no doubt some noble creature in her dashed all to pieces. Oh, the cry did knock against my very heart. Poor souls. Oh, they perished. Had I been any god of power, I would have sunk the sea within the earth, or ere it should the good ship so have swallowed, and the rotting souls within her.
Be collected. No more amazement till your piteous heart there's no harm done.
Oh, woe the day!
No harm! I have done nothing but in care of thee, my dear one, thee, my daughter, who art ignorant of what thou art, not knowing of whence I am, nor that I am more better than Prospero, master of a full poor cell, and thy no greater father.
More to know did never meddle with my thoughts.
'Tis time I should inform thee farther. Lend thy hand, and pluck my magic garment from thee. Lie there, my art. Wipe thou thine eyes. Have comfort. The direful spectacle of the wreck, which touched the very virtue of compassion in thee, I have, with such provision in mine art, so safely ordered, that there is no soul, no, not so much perdition as a hair betide to any creature in the vessel which thou heardst cry, which thou saw'st sink. Sit down, for thou must now know further.
You have often begun to tell me what I am, but stopped and left me to a bootless inquisition, concluding, stay, not yet.
The hour is now come. The very minute bids thee ope thine ear, obey, and be attentive. Canst thou remember a time before we came unto this cell? I do not think thou canst, for then thou wast not out 3 years old.
Certainly, sir, I can.
By what? By any other house or person of anything, the image, tell me, that hath kept with thy remembrance?
Is far off and rather like a dream than an assurance that my remembrance warrants. Had I not 4 or 5 women once that tended me?
Thou hadst, Miranda, and more. But how is it that this lives in thy mind? What seest thou else in the dark backward and abysm of time? If thou rememberst aught ere thou camest here, how thou camest here thou mayest.
But that I do not.
12 years since, Miranda. 12 years since. Thy father was the Duke of Milan and a prince of power.
Sir, are not you my father?
Thy mother was a piece of virtue, and she said thou wast my daughter, and thy father was Duke of Milan, and thou his only heir and princess, no worse issue.
Oh, the heavens! What foul play had we that we came from thence, or blessed wast we did?
Both, my girl, by foul play, as thou sayest, were we heaved thence, but blessedly hoped hither.
Oh, my heart bleeds to think of the teen that I have turned to you, which is from my remembrance. Please you farther.
My brother and thy uncle, called Antonio, I pray thee, mark me, that a brother should be so perfidious. Of he whom next to thyself of all the world I loved, and to him put the manage of my state, as at that time, through all the signories, it was the first, and Prospero the prime duke, being so reputed in dignity and for the liberal arts without a parallel, those being all my study, the government I cast upon my brother, and to my state grew stranger, being transported and wrapped in secret studies, thy false uncle. Dost thou attend me?
Sir, most heedfully.
I pray thee, mark me. I, thus neglecting worldly ends, all dedicated to closeness and the bettering of my mind with that which, but by being so retired, all prized, all populate. In my false brother awaked an evil nature, and my trust, like a good spirit, did beget of him a falsehood in its contrary as great as my trust was, which indeed had no limit, a confidence sans bound. He, being thus lorded, not only with what my revenue yielded, but what my power might else exact, like one who, having into truth by telling of it, made such a sinner of his memory to credit his own lie, he did believe he was indeed the Duke, out of the substitution and executing the outward face of royalty with all prerogative, hence his ambition growing. Dost thou hear?
Your tale, sir, would cure deafness.
To have no screen between this part he played and her he played it for, he needs will be absolute Milan. Me, poor man, my library was dukedom large enough. Of temporal royalties he thinks me now incapable. Confederates, so dry was he for sway with the Queen of Naples to give her annual tribute, do her homage, subject his coronet to her crown, and bend the dukedom yet unbowed. Alas, poor Milan, to most ignoble stooping.
Oh, the heavens!
Mark his condition and the event, then tell me if this might be a brother.
Should sin to think but nobly of my grandmother. Good wombs have borne bad sons.
Now, the condition. The Queen of Naples, being an enemy to me inveterate, hearkens my brother's suit, which was that she, in lieu of the premises of a homage, and I know not how much tribute, should presently extirpate me and mine out of the dukedom, and confer fair Milan with all the honors on my brother. Whereon a treacherous army levied. One midnight, fated to the purpose, did Antonio open the gates of Milan, and in the dead of darkness, the ministers for this purpose hurried thence me and thy crying self.
Oh, alack, for pity! I, not remembering how I cried out then, will cry it o'er again. It is a hint that brings mine eyes to it.
Here, a little further, and then I'll bring thee to this present business, which now is upon us, without the which this story were most impertinent.
Wherefore did they not that hour destroy us?
Ah, well demanded, wench. My tale provokes that question. Dear, they durst not. So dear the love my people bore me, nor set so bloody a mark upon the business, but with colors fairer painted their foul ends. In few, they hurried us aboard a bark, bore us some leagues to sea, where they prepared a rotten carcass of a boat, not rigged, nor tackle, nor mast the very rats instinctively had quitted. There they hoist us to cry to the sea that roared to us, to sigh to the winds that whose pity, sighing back again, did us but loving wrong.
Alack, what trouble was I then to you?
Oh, a cherubim thou wast, that didst preserve me. Thou didst smile, infused with a fortitude from heaven, when I have decked the sea with drops full salt. Under my burthen groaned, which raised in me an undergoing stomach to bear up against what should ensue.
How came we ashore?
Oh, by providence divine, some food and some water that a noble Neapolitan, Gonzalo, out of his charity, being then appointed master of this design, did give us, with rich garments, linens, stuffs, and necessaries, which have since steadied much. So of his gentleness, knowing I loved my books, he furnished me from mine own library with volumes that I prize above my dukedom.
Would I might but ever see that man.
Sit still and hear the last of our sea sorrow. Here in this island we arrived, and here have I, thy schoolmaster, made thee more profit than princesses can have that have more time for vainer hours, and tutors not so careful.
Heavens, thank you for it. And now I pray you, sir, for still 'tis beating in my mind your reason for raising this sea storm.
No, thus far forth, by accident most strange, bountiful fortune, now, my dear lady, hath mine enemies brought to this shore, and by my prescience I find my zenith doth depend upon a most auspicious star, whose influence, if now I quote not but omit, ever after droop. Here, cease more questions. Thou art inclined to sleep. 'Tis a good dullness, and give it way. I know thou canst not choose. Come away, servant. Come, I am ready now. Approach my Ariel. Come.
All hail, great master, grave sir, hail! I come to answer thy best pleasure, be it to fly, to swim, to dive into the fire, to ride on the curled clouds, to thy strong bidding task, Ariel, and all her quality.
Hast thou, my spirit, performed to point the tempest that I bade thee?
To every article I boarded the queen's ship, now on the beak, now in the waist, the deck, in every cabin I flamed amazement, and burn in many places, on the topmast, the yards and bowsprit would I flame distinctly, then meet and join Jove's lightnings, the precursors, oh, the dreadful thunder claps, more momentary and sight outrunning were not the fire and cracks of sulphurous roaring, the most mighty Neptune seemed to besiege and make his bold waves tremble, yea, his dread trident strike.
Yea, my brave spirit, who was so firm, so constant, that this coil did not infect his reason?
Not a soul, but felt a fever of the mad. Some tricks of desperation, but all mariners plunged into the foaming brine and quit the vessel. All afire with me, the queen's daughter, Ferdinand. Then all afire with me, the queen's daughter, with hair upstaring, then like reeds, not hair, was the first one that leapt and cried, hell is empty and all the devils are here!
Why, that's my spirit. But was not this nigh shore?
Close by, my master.
But are they, Ariel, safe?
Not a hair perished on their sustaining garments, not a blemish, but fresher than before. And as thou badest me, in troops I have dispersed them bout the isle. The queen's daughter have I left landed by herself, whom I left cooling with the airs, with sighs, in an odd angle of the isle, sitting her arms in this sad, not
Of the queen's ship, the mariners, say thou hast disposed, and all the rest of the fleet?
safely in harbor.
Ariel, thy charge exactly is performed, but there's more work. What is the time of the day?
Past the mid-season.
At least 2 glasses. The time 'twixt 6 and now must by us both be spent most preciously.
Is there more toil? Since thou dost give me pains, let me remember thee what thou hast promised, which is not yet performed me.
How now? Moody? What is thou canst demand?
My liberty.
Before the time be out, no more.
Prithee, remember, I have done thee worthy service, made thee no mistakings, served without grudge or grumblings. Thou did promise to bait me a full year.
Dost thou forget from what a torment I did free thee?
No.
Thou dost, and think'st it much to tread the ooze of the salt deep, to run upon the sharp wind of the north, to do me business in the veins of the earth when it is baked with frost.
I do not, sir.
Thou liest, malignant thing! Hast thou forgot the foul witch Sycorax, who with age and envy was grown into a hoop? Hast thou forgot her?
No, sir.
Thou hast. Where was she born? Speak, tell me.
Sir, in Argier.
Oh, was she so? I must once in a month recount what thou hast been, which thou forgett'st. This damned witch, Sycorax, for mischiefs manifold and sorceries terrible to enter human hearing, from Argier thou knowest was banished. For one thing she did, they would not take her life. Is not this true?
Aye, sir.
The blue-eyed hag was hither brought with child, and here was left with sailors. Thou, my slave, as thou reportst thyself, wast then her servant, and for thou wast a spirit too delicate to act her earthy and abhorred commands, refusing her grand hests, she did confine thee by help of her more potent ministers, and in her most unmitigable rage into a cloven pine, within which rift imprisoned thou didst painfully remain 12 years, within which space she died and left thee there, where thou didst vent thy groans as fast as mill wheels strike. Then was this island, save for the son that she did litter here, a freckled whelp, hag born, not honored with a human shape.
Yes, Caliban, her son.
Dull thing, I say so. He, that Caliban, whom now I keep in service. Thou best knowst what torment I did find thee in. Thy groans did make wolves howl and penetrate the breasts of ever angry bears. It was a torment to lay upon the damned, which Sycorax could not again undo. It was mine art when I arrived and heard thee, that made gape the pine and let thee out. If thou more murmurst, I will rend an oak and peg thee in his knotty entrails till thou hast howled away 12 winters. I will pardon you. I know you will be correspondent to command and do my spiriting gently. Because if you do so, after 2 days, I will discharge thee. I am your noble master. Do what I say. I shall say what to do. Go, make thyself a nymph of the sea. Be subject to no sight but thine and mine, invisible to every eyeball else. Go, take this shape, and hither come in it. Go, hence, with diligence. Awake, dear heart, awake. Thou hast slept well. Awake.
The strangeness of your story put heaviness in me.
Shake it off. Come on. We'll visit Caliban, my slave, who never yields us kind answer.
He's a villain, sir. I do not love to look on.
But as 'tis, we cannot miss him. He does make our fire, fetch in our wood, and serves in offices that profit us. What ho! Slave! Caliban! Thou earth, thou speak!
There's wood enough within.
Come forth, I say, there's other business for thee. Come, thou tortoise! What? Oh, fine apparition, my Ariel. Ah, my quaint Ariel, hearken thine ear. I know you shall do my bidding. Thou poisonous slave, got by the devil himself upon thy wicked dam, come forth!
As wicked dew as air my mother brushed, with raven's feather from an wholesome fen, drop on you both. A southwest blow on ye, and blister you all over.
For this, be sure, tonight thou shalt have cramps, side stitches that shall pen thy breath up. Urchins shall for that vast of night that they may work all exercise on thee. Thou shalt be pinched as thick as honeycomb, whose pinch more stinging than bees that made 'em.
I must eat my dinner. This island's mine, by Sycorax, my mother, which thou takest from me. When thou camest first, thou strokest me, and madest much of me, with give me water with berries in, and teach me how to name the bigger light, and how the rest that burn by day and night. And then I loved thee, and showed thee all the qualities of the isle. The fresh springs, brine pits, barren place, and fertile. Cursed be I that did so. All the charms of sycorax, toads, beetles, bats, light on you. For I am all the subjects that you have, which first was mine own king. And here, you sty me in this hard rock, whilst you do keep from me the rest of the island.
Thou most lying slave, whom stripes may move, not kindness, I have used thee, filth as thou art, with human care, and lodged thee in mine own cell, till thou didst seek to violate the honor of my child.
What had been done? Thou didst prevent me. I had peopled else this isle with Calibans.
Abhorred slave, which any point of goodness wilt not take, being capable of all ill. I pitied thee, took pains to make thee speak, taught thee each hour one thing or other, when thou wouldst not, savage, know thine own meaning, but wouldst gabble like a thing most brutish. I endowed thy purposes with words that made them known. But thy vile race, though thou didst learn, had that in it which good natures could not abide to be with. Therefore wast thou deservedly confined into this rock, who hadst deserved more than a prison.
You taught me language, and my profit on't is I know how to curse. Rid you for learning me your language.
Hagseed, hence! Fetch us in fuel, and be quick. If thou neglect'st, or dost unwillingly what I command, I'll rack thee with cold cramps, fill all thy bones with aches, make thee roar that beasts shall tremble at thy din.
No, pray thee. I must obey. His art is of such power, it would control my damned god Setabos and make a vassal of him.
So, slave, hence!
Come unto these yellow sands, and then take hands. Curtsied when you have, and kissed the wild waves whist, footed fleetly here and there, and sweet sprites the burthen bear. Hark, hark, the watchdogs bark. Hark, hark, I hear the strain of shutting chanticleer cry, cock-a-diddle-dow.
Where should this music be, in the air or the earth? It sounds no more, and sure it waits upon some god of the island. Sitting on a bank, weeping again the queen, my mother's wreck. This music crept by me upon the waters, allaying both their fury and my passion with its sweet air. Thence I have followed it, or it hath drawn me rather. But 'tis gone. No, it begins again.
Oh, fathom 5, thy mother lies. Though her bones are coral made, those were pearls that were her eyes. They were her eyes. Nothing of her that doth fade, but to suffer a sea change. something rich and strange, rich and strange. Sea nymphs hourly ring her knell. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. Ding, they hear them ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. Bell, ding dong bell, ding dong bell, ding dong bell.
This ditty does remember my drowned mother. This is no mortal business, nor no sound the earth owes. I hear it now above me.
Miranda, the fringed curtains of thine eyes advance, and say what thou seest yond.
What is't? A spirit? Oh Lord, how it looks about! Believe me, sir, it carries a brave form, but 'tis a spirit.
No, wench. It eats and sleeps, and hath such senses as we have such. This lady which thou seest was in the wreck, and but she's something stained with grief, that's beauty's canker, thou mightst call her a goodly person. She hath lost her fellows, and strays about to find them.
I might call her a thing divine, for nothing natural I ever saw so noble.
It goes on, I see, as my soul prompts. Spirit, fine spirit, I'll free thee within 2 days for this.
Most sure the goddess on whom these airs attend. Vouchsafe my prayer, may know if you remain upon this island, and that you may some good instruction give how I may bear me here. My prime request, which I do last pronounce, is, oh, you wonder if you be maid or no.
No wonder, miss, but certainly a maid.
My language, heavens! I am the best of them that speak this speech, were I but where 'tis spoken.
How? The best? What wert thou if the Queen of Naples heard thee?
A single thing, as I am now, that wonders to hear thee speak of Naples. She does hear me, and that she does, I weep. Myself am Naples, who with mine eyes never since at ebb beheld the Queen, my mother, wrecked.
Lack for mercy.
Yes, faith in all her lords.
The Duke of Milan and his more braver daughter could control thee if now 'twere fit to do it. At first sight they have changed eyes. Delicate Ariel, I'll set thee free for this. A word, my lady. I fear you have done yourself some wrong. A word.
Why speaks my father so ungently?
Oh, if a virgin and your affections not gone forth, I'll make thee a queen of Naples.
Soft, soft, one word more. They are both in either's powers, but this swift business I must uneasy make, lest too light winning make the prize light. One word more. I charge thee that thou attend me. Thou dost here usurp the name thou owest not, and hast put thyself upon this island as a spy to win it from me, the Lord on't.
No, as I am a woman.
There's nothing ill can dwell in such a temple. If the ill spirit hath so fair a house, good things will strive to dwell with it.
Follow me. Speak not you for her, she's a traitor. Come, Miranda, I'll manacle thy neck and feet together. Sea water shalt thou drink. Thy food shall be the fresh brook mussels, withered roots and husks, wherein the acorn cradled. Follow.
No, I will resist such entertainment until mine enemy has more power.
Oh, dear father, make not too rash a trial of her, for she is gentle and not fearful.
What? I say, my foot, my tutor? Oh, put thy sword away, who makest a show but darest not strike. Thy conscience is so possessed with guilt. Come from thy ward, for I can disarm thee with this stick and make thy weapon drop.
Beseech you, father!
Hence! Hang not on my garments.
Sir, have pity! Oh, be her surety!
Silence! Not one word more shall make me chide thee, if not hate thee. What? An advocate for an impostor? Hush! Thou think'st there is no more such shapes as she, having seen but her and Caliban? Foolish wench.
My affections, then, are most humble. I have no ambition to see a goodlier person.
Come on, obey! Ferdinand, thy nerves are in their infancy again and have no vigor in them.
So they are. My spirits, as in a dream, are all bound up. My mother's loss, the weakness which I feel, the wreck of all my friends, nor this man's threats, to whom I am subdued, are but light to me. Might I but through my prison once a day behold this maid? All corners else of the earth let liberty make use of. Space enough have I in such a prison.
It works. Come on, thou hast done well, fine Ariel. Follow me. Hark, what else thou should do.
Be of comfort. My father's of a better nature, miss, than he appears by speech. This is unwanted, which now came from him.
Thou shalt be free as mountain winds, but then do exactly all points of my command. Come, follow, speak not for her.
Beseech you, ma'am, be merry. You have cause, so have we all, of joy. For our escape is much beyond our loss. Our hint of woe is common. Every day, some sailor's wife, the masters of some merchant, and the merchant have just our theme of woe. But for the miracle, I mean our preservation, few in millions can speak like us. Then wisely, good ma'am, weigh our sorrow with our comfort.
Breathe peace.
He receives comfort like cold porridge.
The visitor will not give him or so.
Look, he's winding up the watch of his wit. By and by it will strike.
Your grace.
One tell.
When every grief is entertained that's offered, comes to the entertainer
$1.
Dollar comes to him indeed. You have spoken truer than you purposed.
You have taken it wiselier than I meant you should.
Therefore, my lord.
Aye, what a spendthrift is his tongue.
I pray thee spare.
Well, I have done. But yet,
we will be talking.
Which of he or Adriana, for a good wager, first begins to crow?
The old cock.
The cockerel.
Done, the wager.
A laughter.
A match.
Though this island seemed to be desert,
so you're paid.
Uninhabitable and almost inaccessible.
Yet.
He could not miss it.
It must needs be of subtle, tender, and delicate temperance.
Oh, Temperance was a delicate wench.
Aye, and subtle, as he most learnedly delivered.
The air breathes upon us here most sweetly.
As if it had lungs and rotten ones.
Or as 'twere perfumed by a fen.
Here is everything advantageous to life.
Oh, true. Save means to live.
Of that there's none, a little.
How lush and lusty the grass looks, how green.
The ground indeed is tawny.
With an eye of green in it.
He misses not much.
No, he doth but mistake the truth totally.
But the rarity of it is, which is indeed almost beyond credit,
as many vouched rarities are,
that our garments, being as they were, drenched in the sea, hold notwithstanding their freshness and glosses, being rather new dyed than stained with salt water.
If but one of his pockets could speak, would it not say he lies?
Aye, or very falsely pocket up his report.
He thinks our garments are now as fresh as when we put them on first in Africa, at the marriage of the queen's fair daughter Claribel to the king of Tunis.
'Twas a sweet marriage, and we prosper well in our return.
Tunis was never graced before with such a paragon to their queen. Is not, ma'am, my doublet as fresh as the first day I wore it? I mean, of a sort.
That sort was well fished for.
When I wore it at your daughter's marriage.
You cram these words into mine ears against the stomach of my sense. Would I had never married my Claribel there, for coming thence my Ferdinand is lost, and in my rate she too, who is so far from Italy removed, I'll ne'er shall seek them. O thou mine heir of Naples and of Milan, what strange fish hath made his meal on thee?
Ma'am, she may live. I saw her beat the surges under her and ride upon their back. She trod the water, whose enmity she flung aside, and breasted the surge most swollen that met her. Her bold head above the contentious waves she kept, and oared herself with her good arms in lusty stroke to the shore, that over her wave-worn basis bowed, as stooping to relieve her. I not doubt she came alive to land.
No, she is gone.
We have lost your daughter, I fear forever. Milan and Naples have more widows in them of this business making than we bring men to comfort them. The fault's your own.
So is the dearest o' the loss.
My lord Sebastian, the truth you speak doth lack some gentleness and time to speak it in. You rub the sore when you should bring the plaster.
Very well.
And most surgeonly.
It is foul weather in us all, your highness, when you are cloudy.
Foul weather?
Very foul.
Had I plantation of this isle, my lady,
he'd sow it with nettle seeds.
Or docks or mallows.
And were the king on it, what would I do?
Escape being drunk for want of wine.
In the Commonwealth, I would by contraries execute all things. For no kind of traffic would I admit, no name of magistrate. Letters should not be known. Riches, poverty, and use of service, none. Contract, succession, born, bound of land, tilth, vineyard, none. No use of metal, corn, or wine, or oil. No occupation, all men idle, all, and women too, but innocent and pure. No sovereignty.
Yet he would be king on it.
The latter end of his commonwealth forgets the beginning.
All things in common nature should produce, without sweat or endeavor, treason, felony, sword, pike, knife, gun, or need of any engine would I not have. But nature should bring forth of its own kind all poison, all abundance, to feed my innocent people.
No marrying among his subjects?
None, man, all idle, whores and knaves.
I would with such perfection govern, ma'am, to excel the golden age.
God save his majesty.
Long live Gonzalo.
And do you mark me, sir?
Prithee, no more, thou dost talk nothing to me.
I do well believe, your highness, and did it to minister occasion to these gentlemen, who are of such sensible and nimble lungs that they always use to laugh at nothing.
'Twas you we laughed at.
who in this kind of merry fooling am nothing to you, and so you may continue and laugh at nothing still.
Ooh, what a blow was there given.
And it had not fallen flat long.
You are gentlemen of brave metal. You would lift the moon out of her sphere. She would continue it at 5 weeks without changing.
We would so, and then go a bat fowling.
Nay, good my lord, be not angry.
No, I warrant you. I will not adventure my discretion so weakly. You laugh me asleep, for I am very heavy.
Go sleep and hear us.
What? I'll soon asleep. I wish mine eyes would with themselves shut up my thoughts. I find they are inclined to do so.
Please you, ma'am, do not omit the heavy offer of it. It seldom visits sorrow. When it doth, it is a comforter.
We too, your grace, will guard your person while you take your rest and watch your safety.
Oh, thank you. Wondrous, heavy.
What a strange drowsiness possesses them.
It is the quality of the climate.
Why doth it not then our eyelids sink? I find not myself disposed to sleep.
Nor I. My spirits are nimble. They fell together all, as by consent. They dropped as by thunderstroke. What might, worthy Sebastian, what might, no more. And yet, methinks I see in thy face what thou shouldst be. The occasion speaks thee, and my strong imagination sees a crown dropping upon thy head.
What, art thou waking?
Do you not hear me speak?
I do, and surely it is a sleepy language thou speakst out of thy sleep. What is it thou didst say?
Noble Sebastian, thou lettest thy fortune sleep. Die rather, winkest whilst thou art waking.
Thou dost snore distinctly. There's meaning in thy snores.
I am more serious than my custom. You must be so too, if heed me, which to do so trebles the oar.
Well, I am standing water.
I'll teach you how to flow.
Do so, to ebb. Hereditary sloth instructs me.
Oh, if you but knew how you the purpose cherish, whilst thus you mock it, how in stripping it you more invest it. Ebbing men indeed most often do so near the bottom, run by their own fear or sloth.
Prithee, say on. The setting of thine eyes and cheek proclaim a matter from thee, and a birth indeed, which throws thee much to yield.
Thus, sir, although this lord of weak remembrance, this who shall be of as little memory when he is earthed, hath here almost persuade the queen her daughter's alive, 'tis as impossible that she's undrowned, and he that sleeps here swims.
I have no hope that she's undrowned.
Oh, out of that no hope, what great hope have you? No hope that way is so high a hope another way that even ambition cannot pierce a wink beyond, but doubt discovery there. Will you grant with me that Ferdinand is drowned?
She's gone.
Then tell me, who's the next heir of Naples?
Claribel.
She that is queen of Tunis, she that dwells 10 leagues beyond man's life, she that from Naples can have no note, unless the sun repost. The man in the moon's too slow. Till newborn babes' chins be rough and razorable, she from whom we all were sea drowned, though some cast again, and by that destiny to perform an act whereof what's past is prologue, what to come in yours and my discharge.
What stuff is this? How say you? 'Tis true my sister's daughter's queen of Tunis. So is she heir of Naples, twixt which regions there is some space.
A space whose every cubit seems to cry out, how shall that Claribel measure us back to Naples? Keep in Tunis and let Sebastian wake. Say this were death that now hath seized them. Why, they were no worse than now they are. There be they that can rule Naples as well as he that sleeps, lords that can prate as amply and unnecessarily as this Gonzalo. I myself could make a chuff of as deep chat. Oh, that you bore the mind that I do. What a sleep were this for your advancement. Do you understand me?
Methinks I do.
And how does your content tender your own good fortune?
I remember you did supplant your brother Prospero.
True. And look how well my garments sit upon me. Much feeder than before. My brother's servants were then my fellows. Now they are my men.
But for your conscience.
Aye, sir, where lies that? If 'twere a kibe, 'twould put me to a slipper. But I feel not this deity in my bosom. 20 consciences that stand twixt me and Milan, candied be they, and melt ere they molest. Here lies your sister, no better than the earth she lies upon. If she were that which she's like, that's dead, whom I, with this obedient steel, 3 inches of it can lay to bed forever, whilst you doing thus to the perpetual wink, for I might put this ancient morsel, this Sir Prudence, who should not upbraid our course. For all the rest, they'll take suggestion as a cat laps milk. They'll tell the clock to any business that we say befits the hour.
Thy case, dear friend, shall be my precedent. As thou goest Milan, I'll come by Naples. Draw thy sword. One stroke shall free thee from the tribute which thou payest, and I, the king, shall live thee.
Draw together, and when I rear my hand, you do the like, to fall it on Gonzalo.
Oh, but one word.
Oh, you hear the snoring lie, open-eyed conspiracy. His time doth take. If of life you keep a care, shake off sin, beware. Awake, awake, awake. Awake, awake, awake.
Then let us both be sudden.
Why? How now? Ho, awake! Why are you drawn? Wherefore this ghastly looking?
What's the matter?
Whilst we stood here securing your repose, even now we heard a hollow burst of bellowing like bulls or rather lions. Did not wake you? It struck my ear most terribly.
I heard nothing.
Oh, 'twas a din to fright a monster's ear, to make an earthquake. Sure, it was the roar of a whole herd of lions.
Heard you this, Gonzalo?
On mine honor, ma'am, I heard a humming, and that a strange one too, which did awake me. I shaked you, ma'am, and cried. As my eyes opened, I saw their weapons drawn. There was a noise, that's verily. 'Tis best we stand upon our guard, or that we quit this place. Let's draw our weapons.
Lead off this ground, and let's make further search for my poor daughter.
Heavens keep her from these beasts, for she is sure the island.
Lead away.
Prospero, my lord, shall know what I have done here. So, queen, go safely on to seek thy daughter dear.
All the infections that the sucks up from bogs, fens, flats on Prosper fall, and make him by inch meal a disease. His spirits hear me, and yet I needs must curse. But they'll nor pinch, fright me with urchin shows, pitch me in the mire, or lead me like a firebrand in the dark out of my way, unless he bid 'em. But for every trifle are they set upon me. sometime like apes that mow and chatter at me, and after bite me. Then like hedgehogs which lie tumbling in my barefoot way, and mount their pricks at my footfall. Sometime am I all wound with adders, who with cloven tongues do hiss me into madness.
Ow!
Oh, now lo, here comes a spirit of his, and to torment me for bringing wood in slowly. I'll fall flat, perchance she will not mind me.
Here's neither bush nor shrub to bear off any weather at all, and another storm brewing. I hear it sing in the wind. Yon same black cloud, yon huge one, looks like a foul bombard that should shed his liquor. If it should thunder as it did before, I know not where to hide my head. Yon same cloud cannot choose but fall by pailfuls. What have we here? A man or a fish? Dead or alive? Oh! A fish. Oh, he smells like a fish. A very ancient and fish-like smell, a sort of not of the newest, poor John. A strange fish. You know, legged like a man, and his fins like arms. Warm on my trough. I do now let loose my opinion, hold it no longer. This is no fish, but an islander who hath lately suffered by a thunderbolt. Ah! Alas, the storm has come again. My best way is to hide me under his gabardine. There is no other shelter hereabouts. Misery acquaints a man with strange bedfellows. I will here shroud till the dregs of the storm be past.
I shall no more to sea, here shall I die ashore. This is a scurvy tune to sing at a man's funeral. Well, here's my comfort. The master, the swabber, the boatswain, and I, the gunner and his mate, loved Moll, Meg, Marion, and Marjorie, but none of us cared for Kate. For she had a tongue with a tang, would cry to a sailor, go hang. She loved not the savor of tar nor pitch, yet a tailor might scratch her where'er she did itch. And to sea boys and let her go hang. Well, this is a scurvy tune too, but here's my comfort.
No, do not torment me.
What's the matter? Have we devils here? Do you put tricks upon with savages and men of Ind, huh? I have not scaped drowning to be afeard now of your 4 legs. For it hath been said, as proper man as ever went on 4 legs cannot make him give ground, and it will be said so again while Stefano breathes at nostrils.
The spirit torments me.
Some monster of the isle who with 4 legs who have got, as I take it, an ague. Where the devil should he learn our language? I will give him some relief if it be but for that. If I can recover him and keep him tame and get to Naples with him, he is a present for any emperor that ever trod on neat's leather.
Do not torment me, I prithee. I'll bring my wood home faster.
He's in his fit now, and does not talk after the wisest. He shall taste of my bottle. If ye have never drunk wine afore, will go near to remove his fit. If I can recover him and keep him tame, I will not take too much for him. He shall pay for him that hath him, and that soundly.
Thou dost me yet but little hurt. Thou wilt anon, I know it by thy trembling. Now prosper works upon thee.
Come on your ways, open your mouth, Here is that which will give language to you, cat. Open your mouth, this will shake your shaking. I can tell you, and that soundly. You cannot tell who's your friend. Open your chops again.
I should know that voice. It should be, but but he is drowned. These are devils. Oh, defend me!
4 legs and 2 voices, a most delicate monster. His forward voice now is to speak well of his friend, and his backward voice is to utter foul speeches and to detract. If all the wine in my bottle will recover him, I will help his ague. Come, amen. I will pour some in thy other mouth.
Stefano!
Oh, doth thy other mouth call me? Mercy, mercy, this is a devil and no monster. I will leave him. I have no long spoon.
Stefano! Stefano, if thou beest Stefano, touch me and speak to me, for I am Trincula. Be not afeard, thy good friend, Trincula.
If thou art beest Trincula, come forth. I'll pull thee by the lesser legs, if any be Trincula's legs. These are they. Whoop! Why, thou art very Trincula indeed. How camest to be the siege of this mooncalf? Can he vent Trinculas?
I took him to be killed with a thunderstroke, but art thou not drowned, Stefano? I hope now thou art not drowned. Is the storm overblown? I hid me under the dead mooncalf's gabardine for fear of the storm, and art thou living, Stefano? Ah! Stefano! Two Neapolitans escaped!
Oh, prithee, do not churn me about. My stomach is not constant. Oh.
These be fine things, and if they be not sprites. That's a brave god and bears celestial liquor. I will kneel to him.
How didst thou escape? How camest thou hither? Swear by this bottle how thou camest hither. I escaped upon a bunch of sack which the sailors heaved overboard. By this bottle, which I made from the bark of a tree with mine own hands, since I was cast ashore.
I'll swear upon that bottle to be thy true subject, for the liquor is not earthly.
Here, swear then how thou escapest.
Swum ashore, man, like a duck. I can swim like a duck, I'll be sworn.
Here, kiss the book. Though thou canst swim like a duck, thou art made like a goose.
Oh, Stefano, hast any more of this?
Oh, the whole butt, man. My cellar is in a rock by the seaside where my wine is hid. How now, mooncalf? How does thine ague?
Hast thou not dropped from heaven?
Out of the moon. I do assure thee. I was the man in the moon when time was.
I have seen thee in her, and I do adore thee. My mistress showed me thee, and thy dog, and thy bush.
Come, swear to that. Kiss the book. I will furnish it anon with new concepts. Swear.
By this good light, this is a very shallow monster. I have feared of him. A very weak monster, the man in the moon. A most poor credulous monster. Well drawn, good monster, in good sooth.
I'll show thee every fertile inch of the island, and I will kiss thy foot. I prithee, be my god.
By this light, a most perfidious and drunken monster. When his god's asleep, he'll rob his bottle.
I'll kiss thy foot. I'll swear myself thy subject.
Come on then, down and swear.
Shall laugh myself to death at this puppy-headed monster, a most scurvy monster. I could find it in my heart to beat him.
Come, yes.
But that the poor monster's in drink, an abominable monster.
I'll show thee the best springs. I'll pluck thee berries. I'll fish for thee and get thee wood enough. A plague upon the tyrant that I serve. I'll bear him no more sticks, but follow thee, thou wondrous man.
A most ridiculous monster to make a wonder of a poor drunkard.
I prithee, let me bring thee where crabs grow, and I, with my long nails, will dig thee pig nuts. show thee a jay's nest, and instruct thee how to snare the nimble marmoset. I'll bring thee to clustering filberts, and sometimes I'll get thee young scammels from the rock. Wilt thou go with me?
Prithee lead the way, without any more talking. Shrinkula, the queen, and all our company else being drowned, we shall inherit here. Here, fellow Shrinkula, bear my bottle. We'll fill him by and by again.
Farewell, master. Farewell. Farewell.
A howling monster, a drunken monster!
No more dams I'll make for fish, nor fetching, firing, at requiring, nor scrape trencher, nor wash dish. Ban, ban, Caliban! Have a new master, get a new man. Freedom, heyday, heyday, freedom, freedom, heyday, freedom!
There be some sports are painful, and in their labor delight in them sets off. Some kinds of baseness are nobly undergone, and most poor matters point to rich ends. This, my mean task, would be as heavy to me as odious. But the mistress which I serve quickens what's dead, and makes my labors pleasures. Oh, she is 10 times more gentle than her father is crabbed, and he's composed of harshness. I must remove some thousands of these logs and pile them up upon a sore injunction. My sweet mistress weeps when she sees me work, and says that such baseness never had like executor. I forget. But these sweet thoughts do even refresh my labors. Most busy lest when I do it.
Alas now, pray you, work not so hard. I would the lightning had burnt up those logs that you are enjoined to pile. Pray, set it down and rest you. When this burns, 'twill weep for having wearied you. My father is hard at study. Pray now, rest yourself. He's safe for these 3 hours.
O most dear mistress, the sun will set before I shall discharge what I must strive to do.
If you'll sit down, I'll bear your logs the while. Pray, give me that. I'll carry it to the pile.
No, precious creature, I had rather crack my sinews, break my back, than you should such dishonor undergo while I sit lazy by.
It would become me as well as it does you, and I should do it with much more ease, for my goodwill is to it, and yours it is against.
Poor worm, thou art infected. This visitation shows it.
You look wearily.
No, noble mistress, 'tis fresh morning with me when you are by at night. I do beseech thee, chiefly that I might set it in my prayers. What is your name?
Miranda. Oh, my father, I have broke your rest to say so.
Admired Miranda, indeed the top of admiration, worth what's dearest to the world. Full many a lady I have eyed, and many a time the harmony of their tongues hath into bondage brought my too diligent ear. For several virtues I have liked several women, never any with so full soul, but some defect in her did quarrel with the noblest grace she owed and put it to the foil. But you, oh you, so perfect and so peerless, are created of every creature's best.
I do not know one of my sex. No woman's face remember, save from my glass mine own. Nor have I seen more that I may call men than Caliban and my dear father. How features are abroad I am skilless of, but by my modesty, the jewel in my dower, I would not wish any companion in the world but you, nor can imagine form a shape besides yourself to like of. Oh, but I prattle something too wildly, and my father's precepts I therein do forget.
I am in my condition a princess, Miranda. I do think a queen. I would not so, and would no more suffer this would no more endure this wooden slavery than to suffer the flesh fly blow my mouth. Hear my soul speak. The very instant that I saw you did my heart fly to your service. There resides to make me slave to it, and for your sake, I am this patient log woman.
Do you love me?
Oh, heaven. Oh, earth. Bear witness to this sound and crown what I profess with kind event if I speak true. If hollowly, avert what best is boded me to mischief. I, beyond all limit of what else in the world, do love, prize, honor you.
I am a fool to weep at what I am glad of.
Fair encounter of two most rare affections, heavens rain grace on that which breeds between us.
Wherefore weep you?
At mine own unworthiness that dare not offer what I desire to give, and much less take what I shall die to want. Oh, but this is trifling, and all the more it seeks to hide itself, the bigger bulk it shows. Hence, bashful cunning, and prompt me plain and wholly innocent. I am your wife, if you will marry me. If not, I'll die your maid. To be your fellow, you may deny me, but I'll be your servant, whether you will or no.
My mistress, dearest, and I most humble ever.
My wife, then?
I, and with a heart as willing as bondage ere of freedom, here is my hand.
And mine, with my heart in it. Now, farewell, till half an hour hence.
So glad of this as they I cannot be who are surprised withal, but my rejoicing at nothing can be more. I'll to my book, for yet ere supper time must I perform much business appertaining.
Tell not me when the bud is out. We'll drink water, and not a drop before. Therefore bear up and board him. Servant monster, drink to me.
Servant monster, the folly of this island. They say there's but 5 upon this isle. We are but Ah, 3 of them. If the other 2 be brained like us, then the, the state totters.
Drink, servant monster, when I bid thee. Thy eyes are almost set in thy head.
Where should they be set else? He were a brave monster indeed if they were set in his tail.
My man monster hath drowned his tongue in sack. For my part, the sea cannot drown me. I swam ere I could recover the shore 35 leagues. Off and on. By this light, thou shalt be my lieutenant, monster. Or my standard.
Your lieutenant, if you list. He's no standard.
Will not run, Monsieur Monster.
Nor go, neither, but you'll lie like dogs, and yet say nothing, neither.
Mooncalf, if thou beest a good mooncalf, speak once in thy life.
How does thy honor?
Yeah.
Let me lick thy shoe. I'll not serve her. She's not valiant.
Thou liest, most ignorant monster. I am in a case to justle a constable. Why, thou debauched fish, thou. Was ever a man a coward that hath drunk so much sack as I today? Wilt thou tell a monstrous lie, being but half a fish and half a monster?
Lo, how she mocks me. Wilt thou let her, my lord?
Lord, quoth he. That a monster should be such a natural.
Ah, lo again! Bite her to death, I prithee.
Shrinkula, keep a good tongue in your head. If you prove a mutineer, the next tree. The monster is my subject, and he shall not suffer indignity.
I thank my noble lord. Wilt thou be pleased to hearken once again to the suit I made to thee?
Marry will I, kneel and repeat it. I will stand, and so shall Shrinkula.
As I told thee before, I am subject to a tyrant, a sorcerer, that by his cunning hath cheated me of the island.
Thou liest.
Thou liest? Thou jesting monkey, thou! I would my valiant master would destroy thee. I do not lie.
Shrinkula, if you trouble him any more in his tail, by this hand I will supplant some of your teeth.
Why, I said nothing.
Mum then, and no more. Proceed.
I say, by sorcery he got this isle. From me he got it. If thy greatness will revenge it on him, for I know thou darest, but this thing dare not.
That's most certain.
Thou shalt be lord of it, and I'll serve thee.
Oh, how now shall this be compassed? Canst thou bring me to the party?
Yea, my lord. I'll yield him thee asleep, where thou mayst knock a nail into his bead.
Thou liest, thou canst not.
What a pied ninny is this, thou scurvy patch? I do beseech thy greatness, give her blows, and take her bottle from her. When that's gone, she shall drink naught but brine, for I'll not show her with a quick fresh's eye.
Shrinkula, run into no further danger. Interrupt the monster one word further, and by this hand, I'll turn my mercy out of doors and make a stock fish out of thee.
Why, what did I? I did nothing. I'll go farther off.
Didst thou not say he lied?
Thou liest.
Oh, do I so? Take thou that.
Ow! What?
Like this give me the lie another time.
I did not give the lie! Out of your wits and bearing to a pox of your bottle. This that sack and drinking can do. A mirren on your monster, and the devil take your fingers.
Now forward with your tale. Prithee, stand farther off.
Why? As I told thee, 'tis a custom with him in the afternoon to sleep. There thou mayst brain him, having first seized his books, or with a log batter his skull, or punch him with a stake, or cut his weasand with thy knife. Remember first to possess his books, for without them he is but a sot, as I am, nor hath not one spirit to command. They all do hate him as rootedly as I. Darn but his books! He has brave utensils, for so he calls them, which, when he has a house, he'll deck withal, and that most deeply to consider is the beauty of his daughter. He himself calls her a nonpareil. I never saw a woman, but only Sycorax, my dam, and she. But she as far surpasseth Sycorax, as greats does least.
Is it so brave a lass?
Aye, Lord, she will become thy bed, I warrant, and bring thee forth brave brood.
Monster, I will kill this man. His daughter and I will be king and queen. Save our graces. And Trincula and thyself shall be viceroys. Dost thou like a plot, Trincula?
Excellent.
Give me thy hand. I am sorry I beat thee, but while thou livest, keep a good tongue in your head.
Within this half hour will he be asleep. Wilt thou destroy him then?
I, on my honor.
Thou makest me merry. I am full of pleasure. Let us be jocund. Will you troll the catch you taught me but while ere?
At thy request, monster, I will do reason, any reason. Come on, Shriekula, let us sing. Oh, flout 'em and scout 'em and scout 'em and flout 'em, thought is free.
That's not the tune.
Oh. What is this saying?
Be not afeared. The isle is full of noises, sounds, and sweet airs that give delight and hurt not. Sometimes 1,000 twangling instruments will hum about mine ears, and sometimes voices that, if I then had waked after long sleep, will make me sleep again. And then, in dreaming, the clouds methought would open and show riches ready to drop upon me that I cried to dream again.
Oh, this will prove a brave kingdom to me, where I shall have my music for nothing.
When Prospero is destroyed.
That shall be by and by. I remember the story.
The sound is going away. Let's follow it and after do our work.
Lead, monster. We'll follow.
Wilt come? I'll follow, Stefano.
By Lakin, I can go no further, Grace. My old bones ache. Here's a maze trod indeed through forthrights and meanders. By your patience, I must needs rest me.
Old Lord, I cannot blame thee, who am myself attached with weariness to the doling of my spirits. Sit down and rest. Even here I will put off my hope and keep it no longer for my flatterer. She is drowned, whom thus we stray to find, and the sea mocks our frustrate search on land. Well, let her go.
I am right glad that she's so out of hope.
The next advantage we will take throughly.
May it be tonight, for now they are so tired from travel that they cannot be about their wits.
I say tonight, no more.
Who are three of sin, whom destiny that hath to instrument this lower world and what is in it, the never surfeited sea hath caused to belch up you. And on this island where man doth not inhabit, you mongst men being most unfit to live, I have made you mad, and even with such like valor men hang and drown their proper selves. You fools! I and my fellow ministers are fate, the elements of whom your swords are tempered may as well wound the loud winds, or with bemocked at stabs kill the still closing waters, as diminish one dowel that's in my plume. My fellow ministers are like invulnerable. If you could hurt, your swords are now too massy for your strengths and will not be uplifted. But remember, for that's my business to you, that you three from Milan did supplant good Prospero, exposed unto the sea which hath requited him and his innocent child, for which foul deed these powers delaying, not forgetting, have incensed the seas and shores, yea, all the creatures against your peace. Thee of thy child, Alonza, they have bereft and do pronounce by me lingering perdition, worse than any death can that once be, shall step by step attend you and your ways, whose wraths to guard you from, which here in this most desolate isle else falls upon your heads, is nothing but heart sorrow and a clear life ensuing.
In the name of something holy, ma'am, why stand you in this strange stare?
Oh, it is monstrous. Monstrous. Methought the billows spoke and told me of it, and the winds did sing it to me, and the thunder, that deep and dreadful organ pipe, pronounced the name of Prosper. It did base my trespass. Therefore, my daughter in ooze is bedded, and I shall seek her deeper than e'er plummet sounded, and with her there lie mudded.
One fiend at a time. I'll fight their legions o'er.
Ferdinand, if I have too austerely punished you, your compensation makes amends, for I have given you here a third of mine own life. for that for which I live, who once again I tender to thy hand. All thy vexations were but the trials of thy love, and thou hast strangely stood the test here. Afore heaven, I ratify this my rich gift. Oh, Ferdinand, do not smile at me as I boast her off, or thou shalt find she will outstrip all praise and make it halt behind her. I can't hear you, Ferdinand. What dost thou say?
I do believe it against an oracle.
Then, as my gift and thine own acquisition worthily purchased, take my daughter. But if thou dost break her virgin knot before all sanctimonious ceremonies may with full and holy rite be ministered, no sweet aspersion shall the heavens let fall to make this contract grow, but barren hate, sour-eyed disdain, and discord shall bestrew the union of your bed with weeds so loathly that you shall hate it both. Therefore, take heed. As Hymen's lamps shall light you.
As I hope for quiet days, fair fortune, and long life, with such love as 'tis now, the murkiest den, the most opportune place, the strongest suggestion our worser genius can, shall never melt mine honor into lust, to take away the edge of that day's celebration, when I shall think Orpheus' steeds are foundered or night kept chained below.
Fairly spoke. Sit then and talk with her. She is thine own. What? Ariel, my industrious servant, Ariel.
What would my potent master? Here I am.
Thou and thy meaner fellows your last service did worthily perform, and I must use you in another such trick. Go, bring the rabble o'er whom I give thee power here to this place. Incite them to quick motion, for I must bestow upon the eyes of this young couple some vanity of mine art. It is my promise, and they expect it from me.
Presently?
Aye, with a twink.
Before you can say come and go and breathe twice and cry so, each one tripping on his toe, will be here with mop and mow. Do you love me, master? No?
Dearly, my delicate Ariel, do not approach till thou dost hear me call.
Well, I conceive.
Ferdinand, Miranda, look thou be true, do not give dalliance too much the rein. The strongest oaths are straw to the fire in the blood. Be more abstemious, or else good night your vow.
Sir, I warrant you, the white cold virgin snow upon my heart abates the ardor of my liver.
Well, now, come, my Ariel, bring a corollary rather than want a spirit. Appear and be pertly, no tongue, all eyes, be silent.
Ceres, most bounteous lady, thy rich leaves of wheat, rye, barley, vetches, oats, and peas. Thy turfy mountains, which lives nibbling sheep, and flat meads thatched with stower, them to keep. Thy banks, with pined and twilled brims, which spongy April Hespe trims, to make cold nymphs chase crowns, thy broom groves, whose shadow the dismissed bachelor loves. Being last lorn, thy pole-clipped vineyard, and thy sea marge, sterile and rocky hard. Where thou thyself dost err, O queen of the sky, whose watery arch and messenger am I, bids thee, leaves these, and with her sovereign grace, here on this grassy plot, on this very place, Come and sport, her peacocks fly amain. Approach, rich Ceres, her to entertain.
Hail, many-colored messenger, that ne'er dost disobey the wife of Jupiter. With thy saffron wings upon my flowers diffusest honey drops, refreshing showers, and with each end of thy blue bow dost crown my bosky acres and my unshrubbed down. Rich scarf to my proud earth, why hath thy queen summoned me hither to this short-grassed green?
A contract of true love to celebrate, and some donations freely to estate on the blessed lovers.
Highest queen of state, great Juno comes. I know her by her gait.
How does my bounteous sisters go with me to bless the twain? Honor, riches, marriage blessings, long continuance and increasing. Hourly joys be still upon you. Juno brings her blessings on you.
Births increase, foys in plenty, barns and garners never empty. Vines and clustering bunches growing, plants with goodly birth and bowing. Spring come to you at the farthest, in the very end of harvest. Scarcity and want shall shun you. Circe's blessing so is on you.
This is a most majestic vision and harmoniously charmingly. May I be bold to think these spirits?
Spirits, which by mine art I have from their confines called to enact my present fancies.
Let me live here ever. So rare a wondered father and a wife makes this place paradise.
Sweet. Now, silence. Juno and Ceres whisper seriously. There's something else to do. Hush and be mute, or else our spell is marred.
You nymphs called knaves of the windering brooks, with your siege crowns and ever harmless look, leave your crisp channels, and on this green land, answer the summon Juno does command. Come, tempered nymphs, and help to celebrate a contract of true love. Be not too late. You sunburnt sickle men of August weary, come hither from your furrows and be merry. Make holiday your rye straw hat put on, and these fresh nymphs encountering everyone in country footing.
I had forgot that foul conspiracy of the beast Caliban and his confederates against my life. The minute of their plot is almost come. Well done, avoid no more!
This is strange. Your father's in some passion that works him strongly.
Never till this day saw I him touched with anger so distempered.
You do look, my child, in a moved sort, as if you were dismayed. Be cheerful, sweet. Our revels now are ended. These our actors, as I foretold you, were all spirits and are melted into air, into thin air. And like the baseless fabric of this vision, the cloud-capped towers, the gorgeous palaces, the solemn temples, the great globe itself. Ye, all which it inherit, and shall dissolve like this insubstantial pageant faded, leave not a rack behind. We are such stuff as dreams are made on, and our little lives are rounded with a sleep. Oh, ma'am, I am vexed. Bear with my weakness. My brain is troubled. Be not disturbed with my infirmity. If you be pleased, retire into my cell and there repose. A turn or two I'll walk to still my beating mind.
We wish you for peace.
Come, with a thought I thank thee, Ariel, come.
Thy thoughts I cleave to. What's thy pleasure?
Spirit, we must prepare to meet with Caliban.
Aye, my commander, when I presented Ceres, I thought I had told thee of it, but I feared lest I might anger thee.
Say again, where didst thou leave these varlets?
I told you, sir, they were red hot with drinking, so fun of valor that they smote the air for breathing in their faces and beat the ground for kissing of their feet, yet always bending toward their project. Then I beat my tabor, at which like unbacked colts they pricked their ears, advanced their eyelids, lifted up their noses as they smelt music. So I charmed their ears, that calf-like they my lowing followed through tooth briars, sharp furzes, pricking goss and thorns, which entered their frail shins. At last, I left them in the filthy mantled pool by your cell, there dancing up to the chins that the foul lake o'er stunk their feet.
This was well done, my bird. Thy shape invisible retain thou still. The trumpery in my house, go bring it hither for stale to catch these thieves.
I go.
A devil, a born devil, on whom nature, nurture can never stick, on whom my pains humanely taken, all lost, quite lost. And as with age his body uglier grows, so his mind cankers. I will plague them all, even to roaring.
Pray you, tread softly, that the blind mole may not hear a footfall. We now are near his cell.
Monster, your fairy, which you say is a harmless fairy, has done little better than play the jack with us.
Monster, I do smell all horse piss, at which my nose is in great indignation.
So is mine. Do you hear, monster? If I should take a displeasure against you, look, you...
Thou wert but a lost monster.
Good my lord, give me thy favor still. Be patient, for the prize I'll bring thee to shall hoodwink this mischance. Therefore, speak softly. All's hushed as midnight yet.
Aye, but to lose our bottles in the pool!
There's not only disgrace and dishonor in that, monster, but an infinite loss.
There's more to that than my wetting. Yet this is your harmless fairy, monster.
I will fetch off my bottle, though I be o'er years for my labor.
Prithee, my king, be quiet! Seest thou here? This is the mouth of the cell. No noise, and enter. Do that good mischief which may make this island thine own forever, and thy Caliban, for I thy footlicker.
Give me thy hand. I do begin to have bloody thoughts.
Oh, King Stephano. Oh, peer. Oh, worthy Stephano, look what a wardrobe here is for thee.
Let it alone, thou fool. It is but trash.
Oh, monster. We know what belongs to a frippery. Oh, King Stephano.
Put off that gown, Shrinkula. By this hand, I'll have that gown.
Thy grace shall have it.
Dropsy, drown this fool. For what do you mean to dote thus on such luggage? Let's alone and do the murder first. If he awake from toe to crown, he'll fill our skins with pinches, make us strange stuff.
Be you quiet, monster. Now, Mistress Line, is this not my jerkin? Now is the jerkin under the line. Now, jerkin, you are like to lose your hair and prove a bald jerkin.
We steal by line and level, and like your grace.
I thank thee for that jest. Here's a garment for it, which shall not go unrewarded while I am king of this country. Steal by line and level. That is an excellent passive fate. Here's another garment for it.
Monster, come.
We'll lose our time and all be turned to barnacles or to apes with foreheads villainous low.
Monster, lay to your fingers. Help to bear this away where my hogshead of wine is, or I'll turn you out of my kingdom. Go to, carry this.
I and this.
I and this.
Hey, mountain, hey!
Silver!
Fury, fury there! Tyrant there! Hark, hark! Go, charge my goblins that they grind their joints with dry convulsions, shorten up their sinews with aged cramps, and more pit-spotted make them than pard or catamountain!
Hark!
Let them be hunted soundly. At this hour, lie at my mercy all mine enemies. Shortly shall all my labors end, and thou shalt have the air at freedom. For a little, follow and do me service. Now does my project gather to a head. My charms crack not, my spirits obey, and time goes upright with his carriage. How's the day?
On the 6th hour, at which, my lord, you said our work would cease.
I did say so, when first I raised the Tempest. Say, my spirit, how fares the queen and her followers?
Confined together in the same fashion as you gave them in charge, just as you left them all prisoners, sir, in the lion grove which weather fends your cell. They cannot budge till your release. The queen, her brother, and yours abide all three distracted, and the remainder mourning over them, brimful of sorrow and dismay. But chiefly him, sir, that you termed the good old Lord Gonzalo. His tears run down his beard like winter's drops from eaves of reeds. Your charm so strongly worksome that if you now beheld them, your affections would become tender.
Dost thou think so, spirit?
Mine would, sir, if I were human.
And mine shall. Hast thou, which art but air, a touch, a feeling of their afflictions, and shall not myself, one of their kind that relish all as sharply passion as they, be kindlier moved than thou art? Though with their high wrongs I am struck to the quick, yet with my nobler reason gainst my fury do I take part. The rarer action is in virtue than in vengeance. They being penitent, the sole drift of my purpose doth extend not a frown further. Go, release them, Ariel, my charms I'll break, their senses I'll restore, and they shall be themselves.
I'll fetch them, sir.
Ye elves of brooks, standing lakes, hills, and groves, and ye that on the sands with printless foot do chase the ebbing Neptune, and do fly him when he comes back. You, demi-puppets that by moonshine do the sour greenlets make, whereof the ewe not bites. And you, whose pastime is to make midnight mushrooms, that rejoice to hear the solemn curfew, by whose aid, weak masters though ye be, I have bedimmed the noontide sun, called forth the mutinous winds, and twixt the green sea and the azured vault set roaring war. To the dread rattling thunder have I given fire, and rifled Joe's stout oak with his own bolt. The strong-based promontory have I made shake, and by the spurs plucked up the pine and cedar. Graves at my command have waked their sleepers, oped and let them forth by my so potent art. But this rough magic I here abjure, and when I have required some heavenly music, as even now I do, to work mine ends upon their senses that this airy charm is for, I'll break my staff, bury it certain fathoms in the earth, and deeper than did ever plummet sound, I'll drown my book. A solemn air, and the best comforter to an unsettled fancy, cure thy brains now useless, boiled within thy skulls. There stand, for you are spells stopped. Holy Gonzalo, honorable man, mine eyes even sociable to the show of thine fall fellowly drops. The charm dissolves apace, and as the morning steals upon the night, melting the darkness, so their rising senses begin to chase the fragrant fumes that mantle their clearer reason. Oh, good Gonzalo, my true preserver, and a loyal sir to her you followest, I will pay thy graces home both in word and deed. Most cruelly didst thou, Alonza, use me and my daughter. Thy brother was a furtherer in the act. Thou art pinched for it now, Sebastian. Oh, flesh and blood, you, brother mine, that entertained ambition, expelled remorse and nature, who with Sebastian, whose inward pinches therefore are most strong, would have killed your queen. I do forgive thee, unnatural though thou art. Their understanding begins to swell, and the approaching tide will shortly fill the reasonable shore that now lies foul and muddy. Not one of them that yet looks on me or would know me. Ariel, fetch me my hat and my rapier in my cell. I will discase me and myself present as I was sometime Milan. Quickly, spirit, thou shalt ere long be free.
Where the bee sucks, there suck I. On a cow's lips shall I backs the clouds shall fly, on the backs that I do fly into summer merrily, merrily, merrily shall I live now under the blossom, under the blossom, under the blossom that hangs on the bough.
Why, that's my dainty area. I shall miss thee, but yet thou shalt have freedom. So, to the Queen's ship, invisible as thou art, there shalt thou find the mariners asleep under the hatches, the master and the boatswain being awake, and force them to this place, and presently, I prithee.
I drink the air, I drink the air before me, and return ere your pulse twice beat.
Gonzalo, dost thou speak? I canst hear you. Speak now.
All trouble, torment, wonder, and amazement inhabits here. Some heavenly power guide us out of this fearful country.
Behold, your grace, the wronged Duke of Milan, Prospero, for more assurance that a living prince does now speak to thee, I embrace thy body, and to thee and thy company I bid a hearty welcome.
Whether thou beest he or no, or some enchanted trifle to abuse me, as late I have been, I know not. Thy pulse beats as of flesh and blood, and since I saw thee, the affliction of my mind amends, with which I fear a madness held me. This must crave, and if this be at all a most strange story, thy dukedom I resign, and do entreat thy pardon me thy wrongs. But how should Prospero be living and be here?
First, Gonzalo, noble friend, let me embrace thine age, whose honor cannot be measured or confined.
Whether this be or be not, I'll not swear.
You do yet taste some subtleties of the isle that will not let you believe certain things. Welcome, my friends all. But you, my brace of lords Antonio and Sebastian, were I so minded, I here could pluck her highness frown upon you and justify you, traitors. At this time, I will tell no tale.
The devil speaks in him.
No, no. Or you, most wicked sir, whom to call brother would even infect my mouth. I do forgive thy rankest fault, all of them, and require my dukedom of thee, which perforce I know thou must restore.
If thou beest Prospero, give us particulars of thy preservation, how thou hast met us here, who 3 hours were wrecked upon the shore, where I have lost, how sharp the point of remembrance is, my daughter, Ferdinand.
I am woe for it, ma'am.
Irreparable is the loss, and Patience says it is past her cure.
I rather think you have not sought her help, of whose soft grace for the like loss I have her sovereign aid, and rest myself content.
You, the like loss.
As great to me as late, and supportable, to make the dear loss have I means much weaker than you to call to comfort you, for I have lost my daughter.
A daughter.
In this last tempest, I perceive these lords at this encounter do so much admire that they devour their reason and scarce think their eyes do offices of truth. Their words are natural breath, but howsoe'er you have been justled from your senses, know for certain that I am Prospero, and that very duke which was thrust forth of Milan, who most strangely upon this shore where you were wrecked was landed to be the lord on it. Yet no more of this, for 'tis a chronicle of day by day, not the relation for a breakfast nor befitting a first meeting. Welcome, Grace. This cell's my court. Here I have few attendants and subjects, none abroad. Pray you, look in. My dukedom, since you have given me again, I will requite you with as good a thing, at least bring forth a wonder to content ye as much as me, my dukedom.
You play me false.
No, my dearest love, I would not for the world.
Yes, for a score of kingdoms you should wrangle, and I would call it fair play.
If this prove a vision of the island, one dear daughter shall I twice lose.
A most high miracle.
Though the seas threaten, they are merciful. I have cursed them without cause.
Now all the blessings of a glad mother compass thee about. Arise and say how thou camest here.
Oh, wonder! How many goodly creatures are there here? How beauteous mankind is! Oh, brave new world that has such people in it!
'Tis new to thee.
What is this maid with whom thou wast at play? Your eldest acquaintance cannot be 3 hours. Is she the goddess that has severed us and brought us thus together?
Ma'am, she is mortal, but by immortal providence, she's mine. I chose her when I could not ask my mother for her advice, nor thought I had one. She is daughter to this famous Duke of Milan, of whom so often I have heard renown, but never saw before, of whom I have received a second life. And second father, this lady makes him to me.
And I'm hers. But oh, how oddly will it sound that I must ask my child for forgiveness.
There, ma'am, stop. Let us not burthen our remembrance with a heaviness that's gone.
I have inly wept, or should have spoken ere this. Look down, you God, and on this couple drop a blessed crown, for it is you that have chalked forth the way which brought us hither.
I say, amen, Gonzalo.
Was Milan thrust from Milan that his issue should become queens of Naples? Oh, rejoice beyond the common joy and set it down with gold on lasting pillars. In one voyage did Claribel her husband find in Tunis, and Ferdinand, her sister, found a wife where she herself was lost. Prospero, his dukedom, in a poor isle, and all of us ourselves, when no man was his own.
Let grief and sorrow still embrace his heart that doth not wish you joy.
Oh, be it so, amen. Oh, look, ma'am. Look, ma'am, here's more of us. I prophesied that if a gallows were on land, this fellow could not drown. Now, blasphemy that swears grace overboard, not an oath on shore. Hast thou no mouth by land? What is the news?
The best news is we have safely found our queen and company. The next, our ship, which but 3 glasses since we gave out split, is tight and yard and bravely rigged as when we first set out to sea.
Sir, all this service I have done since I went.
My tricksy spirit.
These are not natural events. They strengthen from strange to stranger. Say, how came you hither?
If I did think, ma'am, I were well awake, I'd strive to tell you. We were dead of sleep, and how we know not, all clapped under hatches. Well, but even now it's strange and several noises of roaring, screeching, howling, jingling of change, and more diversity of sounds, all horrible. We were awaked straightway at liberty, where we in all her trim freshly beheld our royal good and gallant ship, our master, capering to eye her on a thrice, so please you, even in a dream where we divided from them and were brought moping hither.
Was it well done?
Bravely, my diligence. Thou shalt be free. Come hither, spirit. Set Caliban and his companions free. Untie the spell. How fares my gracious queen? There are some yet missing of your company, some few odd lads that you remember not.
Every man shift for all the rest, let no man take care for himself, for all is but fortune. Coraggio, bully monster, coraggio!
If these be true spies, which I wear in my head, here's a goodly sight.
O Setibus, these be brave spirits indeed. How fine my master is. I am afraid he will chastise me.
What things are these, my lord Antonio? Will money buy them?
Very like. One of them is a plain fish, and no doubt marketable.
Mark but the badges of these men, my lords, then say if they be true. This misshapen knave, his mother was a witch, and one so strong that could control the moon, make flows and ebbs, and deal in her command without her power. These 3 have robbed me. And this demi-devil, for he's a bastard one, had plotted with them to take my life. 2 of these fellows you must know and own this thing of darkness, acknowledge mine.
I shall be pinched to death.
Is this not Stefano, my drunken butler?
He is drunk now. Where had he wine?
And Trincula is reeling right. Where should they find this grand liquor that hath gilded them? How came thou in this pickle?
I have been in such a pickle since I saw you last that I fear me will never out my bones. I shall not fear fly blowing.
Why, how now, Stefano?
Oh, touch me not. I am not Stefano, but a cramp.
You'll be king of the Isles, sirrah.
I should have been a sore one then. Oh.
This is a strange thing as I e'er looked on.
This Caliban is as disproportioned in his manners as in his shape.
I'll be wise hereafter and seek for grace. What a thrice double ass was I to take this drunkard for a god and fool.
Go to, away!
Hence, and bestow your luggage where you found it.
Or stole it, rather.
Ma'am, I invite you, your highness and your train. I'll bring you to your ship, and so to Naples, where I have hope to see the nuptial of these, our dear beloved, solemnized. And thence retire me to my Milan, where every third thought shall be my grave.
I long to hear the story of your life, which must take the ear strangely.
I'll deliver all, and promise you calm seas, auspicious gales, and sail so expeditious that shall catch your royal fleet far off. My Ariel, chick, that is thy charge. Then to the elements, be free. Caliban, fare thou well. Please you, draw near. Now my charms are all o'erthrown, and what strength I have's mine own, which is most faint. Now, 'tis true I must be here confined by you or sent to Naples. Let me not, since I have my dukedom got and pardoned the deceiver, dwell in this bare island by your spell, but release me from my bands with the help of your good hands. Gentle breath of yours my sails shall fill, or else my project fails, which was to please. Now, I want spirits to enforce, art to enchant, and my ending is despair, unless I be relieved by prayer, which perceives so that it assaults mercy itself and frees all faults. As you from crimes would pardoned be, let your indulgence set me free.
Thank you all so much for tuning in for this production of The Tempest put on by All the World Wide Web's A Stage. Please stay tuned for further productions that we will be doing for the amount of time that we're at home, or maybe even longer. Thank you again for all of you for supporting us. If you enjoyed this, please like us on Facebook under All the World Wide Web's A Stage. You can subscribe to my YouTube link, which is likely where this will be. Also, thank you to everyone right now who is out there doing the good fight, volunteering, our first responders, our doctors, our nurses, to everyone who is feeling under the weather or worse than under the weather. We send you all of the best wishes and luck for good health in the future. Again, please stay tuned for us for further auditions and upcoming productions. And at this point, I would very much like to ask all of the cast and crew to come on for one final bow. Thank you, everyone. Without the group of you, this would have never happened. Thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of your Saturday.